Hello my friends. So today in this video we're going to talk about how to reduce models flaking on you. Yes, it happens to every single one of us. That's probably happened to me hundreds of times at this point over the last 2 years, and in today's video we're really going to dive deep into some of the strategies that you can actually kind of utilize and some of the signs that you can kind of see in your little poop tests that you could throw at someone to be able to see whether they're not going to actually show up to the shoot and whether they're going to follow through on the commitment or they're going to flake. Now there's different kind of signs that you can look for. So the biggest thing to look for when it comes to whether someone's going to flake, male or female, one of the biggest tips I can give you guys, okay, if you guys are sending messages in the beginning, they're super excited, they're just like, oh my god, I can't wait to shoot, you know, they're excited to shoot with you guys, that's good, that's a good sign. And say you reach out to them or they reach out to you and they're very responsive, they're hitting you back up within, you know, an hour, 2 hours, and it's consistent responses to your messages, and you can sense that they're using a lot of exclamation points and emojis and that they're excited. You know, you can sense that through the message, like, okay, this person is excited to work with me, they value my work, they value me and what I can contribute to them as an artist. And like as you get closer and closer towards the shoot date, the likelihood of them responding, or I suppose the speed of how fast they respond to you starts to slowly, like, basically increase, and then the amount of messages that they send you back relative to the messages that you're sending them starts to decrease, and they just take longer to message you back, and they just take longer to message you back, and the messages don't have as many exclamation points or emojis and things of that nature. That's usually a sign that there's some logistical or financial or whatever, there's some kind of circumstance happening in this person's life which is going to basically increase the likelihood that they're going to flake on you that day. For me, what I look for is that I look for that eagerness all throughout the photo shoot, all throughout the interaction phase before we actually meet day of for the shoot. So if that eagerness remains throughout, and to include the actual day that we have the shoot scheduled, then that's a good sign. It means they're more than likely going to actually follow through. But at the moment I start to see them not really responding as fast to the messages, and there's not that eagerness around the messages, then at that point I start to get skeptical, which you should also start to get skeptical. And not to say that you should open up your calendar, but be prepared. You know, have something else booked in your calendar that you're going to be doing, that you can still make productive usage of the time that you have for the shoot. But that's one of the biggest things to look for, is how responsive is this person? Is there a sense of eagerness when you guys are messaging back and forth or emailing back and forth? Is there an eagerness? Are you sensing that eagerness is starting to dissipate and it's starting to wane little by little? Most likely they're going to flake. That's just the truth. So another thing that happens that you can kind of sense when someone's going to flake is you know, when you're going through the messaging conversation in the beginning, that they're not really excited to work with you, and when you give them your rates and your packages and your fees and whatever you guys have around that, that they're trying to lowball you. If someone is at a point where they're not going to really offer exactly what you're asking for, it means they don't value your work. And if you do end up booking and you don't have a deposit, the likelihood of them flaking is also going to be greater, because they're not really valuing what they're ultimately going to be paying you to give them. So that's another sign to look for if you're looking at whether someone's going to flake on you or not. That's number 2 right there. So just really analyze, okay, is this person, okay, I gave them my rates, you know, I gave them kind of a contract. Does this person, are they accepting with that? Are they trying to lowball me? Am I willing to kind of negotiate with that? After I negotiated, are they still lowballing me? If you set something up, the likelihood of them flaking is going to be great, because they don't value you as a photographer. That's the truth. Number 3, when it comes to flaking, is that if someone says, maybe, I can see, possibly, I'll get back to you, and you follow up with them, and you guys still set something up, the likelihood of them flaking is very high because of that. Anyone saying maybe, possibly, get back to you, let me check my schedule, things of that nature, that means that more than likely they don't want to say no for whatever reason. They don't want to say no, and they can't say no in that moment, so they would rather just kind of just fade away off into the distance. So if you're getting those kind of messages when you're like, okay, hey, so what's your schedule like? You know, I got this date and this date. It's like, oh, you know, maybe I'll get back to you. We'll kind of see. And you follow up with them and they kind of give you that same response. That's not going to happen. If you set that up and you book that into your calendar, then more than likely they're not going to be there, man. That's another thing. So I guess the next thing I can really, that was number 3. I can kind of give you guys some advice how to avoid some of these situations so that you don't get flaked on nearly as much as I've gotten flaked on. Have a deposit. 50%, whatever you're currently charging. If you're doing collaborative shoots, when it comes to scheduling out that time, have something else that you can possibly be doing in that time block already scheduled, but put it on the back burner. Because the biggest thing that always frustrated me is like, okay, I blocked out this time Saturday, 11 to 2, 2 to 5, whatever it is, and I made a commitment to myself to not do anything else during that time. But here we are, the model doesn't show up that day, and then I'm just like, what do I do for the next 3 hours? I wasn't planning on being available right now. I don't know what to do with the rest of my day. Have something as a back burner that was like, okay, if the model flakes, I can do X, Y, and Z. Have that. Make sure you have something like that, because that'll make your life a lot easier. So if he or she does flake, you got something you can do. I didn't do that for a long time, so those hours were just kind of spent with me doing random stuff, man, and it could have been way more productive because I made that commitment. I blocked off my calendar and I blocked off my mental processes as far as like, okay, this is what I'm going to be doing with this time. This is the commitment that I have today. This is kind of the mindset I need to be in to do that. So have something as a contingency for that standpoint. Another thing that you can do, strategy number 2, outside of having something that you could do during that time and have that as backup, number 2 is going to be message the model like multiple times to confirm, especially day of. Like, oh my God, message them the day of, in that morning. If you have a morning shoot or an afternoon shoot, message them a couple hours prior to the shoot. Be like, hey man, I'm excited to work with you. I'll see you here in a couple of hours. I'm just kind of getting set up right now and doing some things. Shoot me a message when you're on your way. That right there, if they do not respond to that message, they're gonna flake. So if you're in a situation where you're just like, hey, shoot me a message when you're on your way, and they don't shoot you a message, you might as well open up your calendar, my friend. I have literally never seen a situation where I've been like, hey, shoot me a message when you're on your way, and they don't respond and they're just magically there. I've never seen that. I've never seen that ever. So that's usually a sign. Just send them a message prior to the shoot, a couple hours before. Be, hey, I'm getting set up. I'm excited to work with you. We're gonna get some awesome results today. Whatever verbiage you want to use, it doesn't really matter. But send them some kind of filter, kind of like a little poop test message, and see what their response is. If they don't have a response, I'm going to be honest, my friend. They're more than likely going to flake. Maybe your circumstances may be different than mine. I don't know. But I've never seen that happening where they didn't message and they were just magically there. That's never happened. So I guess the other, like, number 3 kind of advice I can give you guys to really avoid flaking is to make sure that you're messaging people that you're truly excited about working with, and you're not just doing it from a money standpoint or whatever, just because this client's throwing $150, $200, $500 at you. Make sure that the clients that you're actually shooting are someone that you want to shoot. It's a project that you actually care about, and then from that standpoint, just making sure that they feel the same way about that stuff, that they're actually excited. The excitement is so important, because if people are excited to work on a project and they're telling their friends about it, the likelihood of them flaking is usually pretty low. So just kind of filter out for that. Are people really excited about the project that we're going to do? Not only from just working together, but what's the actual vision? What's the project? And look for those kind of signs that I talked about before. But yeah, those would be kind of the couple of tips and some of the signs to look out for when it comes to avoid flaking. Hey, I've been there, man. I've been flaked probably, I don't know, 3 times a weekend for 2 years almost. So that's a lot of numbers. I don't know what the numbers are on that, but 3 times 12 months times 4 times 2 years. It's a lot of people that have flaked, right? And it happens to everyone. It happens at every single level. Things happen in people's lives, man. So you can't be mad about that. Just have the deposit. Just filter out for those messages. Look for the signs. As you go through the experiences, you'll kind of see your personal signs based on your market. But those are kind of the signs that I've seen. And that's just kind of what happens consistently. If I start to see that stuff, I'm gone, man. I'm already got something scheduled. Not to say that I won't be available if they magically show up. I will be, but the likelihood is just always low. So that kind of wraps up today's video, man. As always, guys, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button. While you're down there, hit that like button as well. You should definitely do that. That's a great button to hit. And then as far as reaching out to us, leave a comment, man. If you have any specific questions, if you have any gripes with this, and by all means, share your experiences with some of the funny stories that you guys have when models are flaking on you. If you have a specific video that you'd like to see us do, we absolutely record a video just for you if we have the skill set to do that. Outside of that, stay tuned to our channel. Some really, really great content coming up soon. But outside of that, my guys, peace out.